Who needs an intro when you could just start? Oh, that's awkward. Something is broken. There we go. I was considering doing a micless stream today, but that never lasts long anyway. But the entertainment value of this stream is going to be less than usual because I want to focus on the programming. Okay, that is so strange. Why does that happen? It doesn't think I have SW rates in my mods folder, even though I definitely do. SW rates lib. Info JSON is 0.4.0. What gives? Maybe it's the version list dependency? I don't know, man. It ends up working anyway, but I need to figure that out. Oh, geez. Oh, no, the lag. Oh, well. Why am I rewriting rate calculator? Because in order to properly handle all of the things that Simon's library can give me, I have to. Rate calculator's GUI is not capable of showing all the things that Simon's library gives the mod. So it's going to require lots of refactoring, and if I'm going to do that, may as well refactor it completely. I've been wanting to do that for years anyway. The current GUI code is kind of a mess. It uses Flip's GUI templates, which aren't bad in and of themselves, but like, it could be a lot better. I have a new way that I prefer to do things that doesn't use those. Because now I'm a C++ boy. I like my encapsulation. It's kind of funny though, because now the process entities is now just 2 lines. Whereas if I go to master, you'll see that it's like this big thing. I basically just completely rely on Simon's library now. I'm not doing any of the calculations myself anymore. Simon's library is too good. Okay. What's the first thing I want to do? I want to store the calculation sets separately from the GUI, so let's do that. Let's just do an array for now. So this is one thing that I'm gonna do. Later. Preserve calc sets across mod changes and migrate things as needed. That's gonna be a difficult thing to do. Because right now, rate calculator, all of the, well, I can't show you, But all of the sets that you make in Rate Calculator are kind of ephemeral. Like, if you change mod configuration, they just disappear. But I want them to be more permanent now, and you can like give them names and save them and things like that. Because eventually, this is going to become sort of like Factory Planner. Long term. Wait, I can just... I don't need that -1 garbage. Do that. Right, because it's one indexed. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot again. Also, you'll notice that my Lua has become, like, object-oriented ever since I started using C++ every day. I've become the very thing I swore to destroy. Okay, so now we can... Oh, I don't need material node anymore. Oh, actually, I want this to be... I want this to contain them all for all players. But I want players to be able to share these with each other. Long term. Which makes me think that I should have one table and give each rate set a unique ID and then be able to point the GUI at any given rate set, no matter which player owns it. Yeah, let's do that. So we actually want this to be rates set manager. Okay, so sets, we have a table uint rate set. Question mark. And then we have a field player sets. There's a table of uint to uint array. Right, because we want multiple players to be able to use rate calculator at the same time and go back and forth. Because at first we are re-implementing the existing GUI just with a new code structure, and then we will start messing with it and making it better. So the current GUI has the forward and back buttons that we want to preserve. So we do need to keep track of which sets belong to a player. Oh, I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone. I just realized that because of the OBS delay, that probably sounded horrible. My OBS is delayed by like a quarter second. In the audio monitoring, I mean. So no humming for me. In order to fix that, I would have to restart the stream, and that's not happening. It was fine? Cool. Maybe hold on. It's still slightly delayed. It's not as bad. Maybe it caught up. I used to do a thing, because like the way I have this set up is that I have oops, that's awkward. I have a bunch of fake audio devices of game, music, chat, and alerts. And then those are all tied in to OBS, and then OBS re-outputs those to my full of shit analog stereo here. I did not swear, that is just the name. I'm full of shit is the name that it has. It's great. I love it. But the audio monitoring in OBS can be a little laggy sometimes. The delay wasn't the bad part? What? But I have good relative pitch. Are you telling me my singing wasn't good? How dare you? Okay, I don't think I want to keep the active set on in this. I want to keep it in the GUI state. So this will contain the player sets, but the GUI will contain the index it is showing. And then we get by ID. All right, cool. That is what we want. Oh no, but right. Actually, we do need to keep it outside the GUI, so we need to also, I could make these pointers weak references to the sets, maybe. I've never messed with Lua weak references before. That might be fun. Because Lua weak references are kind of like weak pointers. Lua does automatic memory management. A program only creates objects, tables, functions, etc. There is no function to delete objects. Yeah. Lua's garbage collector has no problem with cycles. Garbage collector collect only what it's because we're sure it's garbage. Simply cleaning your references is not always enough. Some constructions need extra collaboration between you and the collector. You want to keep a collection of all live objects of some kind in your program. That seems like a simple task. Yeah. Weak tables are the mechanism that you use to tell Lua that a reference should not prevent the reclamation of an object. A weak reference is a reference to an object that is not considered by the garbage collector. If all references pointing to an object are weak, the object is collected, and somehow these weak references are deleted. Somehow. I like how it says somehow in the official Lua manual. Lua implements weak references as weak tables. A weak table is a table where all references are weak. That means that if an object is only held inside weak tables, Lua will collect the object eventually. Okay. Eventually. That might actually be desync land. Because I don't think the garbage collector is deterministic. So if you try to do anything with based on the garbage collector, I think you can desync. Because then it'll like remove a reference on one client but not the other. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. That's too jank. There's some getter on the weak reference that can return nil. I think it just makes it nil. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna do that though. Okay. So this is kind of overkill for now because we're not going to implement sharing right now, but this is future proofing. So we keep all the sets in one table, and then the player sets are kept separately so that players can like add another player to their sets if they want to. It also means that the force and surface and stuff are kept per entity, which we're already doing. That's fine. Okay, so now we want to set race sets.new and then storage. Hold on. Storage.rates set manager. So that should type it correctly, yes. So now we can we don't need the player anymore. All right, cool. So now what we can do is I do need the player here. I'm sure a Twitter thread of a vibe coder losing an entire database because they relied on Replit. Not hallucinating. Guess what it did? Hallucinated. Yep. Classic vibe coding moment. Because the thing with this is that I only want to add check if empty. I only want to add it if it's not empty. But for now, we're just going to do Okay, cool. That should work for that. And then we can basically just copy paste this again. But this is true. Oh, actually, if not set, then we just return. But then we're good. Cool. Oh, I need to... Okay, so what happens now? Okay, so dictionary is there, LM filters is there, GUI rate set manager. Okay, next set ID is 2, player sets, active index is 1, IDs is 1. Yep. Sets, we have the first set here. Awesome. Sweet, it worked. First try. I'm the best. Okay. Do I have a set is empty? Not yet. Rate set. Well, we're gonna rely on configurations actually, because that's gonna work with integers, so there's no floating point of precision there. There we go. That should do it. I don't have flying text. No, I don't have a flying text in this. Oh, I just realized I never posted any of my Discord notices. Oops. I need to automate that. Discord? There you go. Professional strummer. Exactly. All right, cool. Now if I select another one, we should have 2 sets. Yes. We have 1 set and we have 2 sets. Okay. So that's there. Now we have 2 sets, and if we should be able to add to and remove from the second set by doing that. Now we should have green circuits being produced in the second set. Yep, input, output, yep, cool. We got them. And if we right-click that, it should go away. Gosh, there's so much more in this than there was in the previous version. There's so much more data, which is not a bad thing. It's just going to be interesting. Yep, okay, amount equals 0. Configurations is nothing. I am tempted to try to do, instead of using just regular Lewin numbers, I'm tempted to do a fixed point precision thing. That might be interesting. Okay. Factorio is safe folders now? Yeah, you've always been able to do that. You just have to create them in your file system, and then it works fine. We just don't support creating them in the GUI yet. It's something I want to add, but it's not a on the official thing. The problem with that is, like, you have to make sure that it works on all platforms, and if you mess it up, it can very easily destroy things. That's why we haven't done it. But I would like to have it. But for now, just do it in your file system. Okay, so now we have a rate set, and we are adding things to sets. So now we are almost ready to make the GUI, I think. Okay, so let's do it. So we are basically going to... Or I think we're going to make a directory for the GUI. And get our boilerplate set up. Okay, so now we set up the boilerplate for the window, so... One of these days I'll make like a template system in Flib for this. You can just do create a window with a title bar, and it'll just do it for you. Today's not that day though. GUI.arcalc title. Mod name.rate calculator, I guess. I'm gonna arcalc window title main GUI title. Just in case, because I've know that a lot of people don't like to localize the mod names for like mod portal stuff. So I've been asked before to do the title bars separately, so they can localize the title bar but not the mod name. Actually, never mind. We only need to do this one more time. Okay, now we need to steal the frame action button helper from this one. Oh, this returns an LM definition. Yeah, sure. We'll use it here. But I want. Nope. Wouldn't this be so much nicer if you could just Haskell instead of Lua? No. I hate functional languages. Hey, Theranos. I don't like it. I need to come up with a better GUI event handler system. Why is your CPU running hot? Because it's a 10900K. Running on a 240 millimeter radiator in a 9.8 liter case. It runs hot. Also, yes, I have a silent fan profile. It never really gets above 80 degrees though, even at full tilt, so it's fine. Like it ramps up from 60 to 70, it ramps up, and then from 70 to 80, it ramps up to like full fan speed, and then it's fine. But if I don't have a silent fan profile, then the fans are just going like all day. You know what? We're gonna try something sneaky. Oh, right. Lua LS got smarter. I need to fix those. Oh, I forgot to name the window. I'm suddenly wondering if it's actually going to be that bad to just do event handling the manual way. I'm going to try it. Hey, Mechajide. Whoa, what did I do? My fingers got messed up. Oh, we're right. If I do this, then I have to redo the boilerplate for every single one. That's fine. Storage.gui.playerIndex. If not self, then return. Then we do the thing. That's not that much boilerplate. It's fine. Plus, how many event handlers are we gonna have anyway? Most of it's gonna be clicking, so we're good. On GUI click. Okay, so now we just have to switch. We have to figure out which element it is, which kind of blows, actually. So let's do a little bit of a hybrid. We will do tags, click, arcalc, click, handler equals something. Oh, but then I can't do the function itself. Right, that's why I like the flib way of doing it. Whatever, we'll just do it the manual way. If lm equals self.window title bar flow self.window dot force auto center. That for now. Does this have an auto center parameter? No. Actually, I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah. Does it have it in add? No. Well, that blows. Oh, I don't have the self. Oh, yeah, I do. What the heck? Self is main GUI. GUI data or main Oh. These are old, so we're gonna... That should just be... But I disabled... That's annoying. I thought that would make it completely disable smarts in this. Like, not even do anything at all. I guess it just disables the diagnostics. Dumb. I guess I will simply have to comment it out. Or somehow exclude these. How to do that. There are workspace.exclude. Ignore dir. Can be a file. Okay. Hello, Rygard VOD Watcher with a question. Are you still having problems seeing ghosts behind tall buildings? Yes. That's on my list. It's been on my list for like 3 months, and I haven't looked at it yet. But it's on my list. Okay, there we go. So now we should do lm equals self dot... Oh no, it was working fine. I'm just a dingo. What I've been using is called construction approvals. Adds a green check mark that's visible at the top of buildings. Help me out some. Maybe it'll help you as well. What do you mean green check mark? Oh, you mean like it just adds it? Oh, that's like that mod that like things won't start being built until you approve them. Nah, I don't want that. Thank you though. Nope. Got a glimpse of my background. That's probably going to be the thumbnail. Because YouTube likes to, whenever I accidentally show my background, YouTube likes to use that as the thumbnail for the VOD. Funny. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, well now I need to create it. Okay, I'm actually going to move all of this to one of the GUI files. Rates.gui.node description. What? That should be a thing. I think it's just hallucinating. Ah, frick. Rates.gui is here. Goes there. Oh, that's the wrong. Oh, Lua LS. It no worky. Scripts GUI. No description. Yeah, it's right there. Why is it not picking that up? I don't know, just Lua LS things, I guess. Seems like an operator error. No, because I go here. Well, let's see. Rates.gui.no description exists. I go here, and then I go here. Go to definition on this. This scripts.gui is in this path, so it should be doing that one. Oh, now it's working. Why? Why? Why is it working now? The frick? Oh, hey, look, this is working now too. I love Lua LS. Okay. So I think I need a helper function to create the GUI. We have the constructor there, but we also need another constructor. Main GUI dot build, create, and show. Player set true. What is that? We're just gonna copy all this, actually. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Oh, great. Now it's... Why? I said to ignore that file. Ah. This thing is making me aggravated. Even if I open it, I want you to continue to ignore it. Okay, well, I need a short break. I'll be back. Bio break. I'm back. Thank you. Okay. Hey, Bloodstained Crow, how you doing today?
Fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it.
Hey, Valnek.
Fix it, fix it.
I'm fixing it. There's a few people hanging out, but not very much backseating, no. Oh, you're talking about my stream tags. Yeah. No backseating. I know best. What's the rewrite about? Using Simon's rate calculation library. Changing the product, yes. I think for the first step is just gonna be making the existing GUI work. Like I already have a I already have a branch. I'll show you real quick. I already have a branch that uses Simon's library, but it is technically infeasible for me to implement all of the variants of things without rewriting the GUI. Well, Valnuk, the reason I'm doing this is because Simon's library is better than my code was. So like, if I select this, it shows all the things like Rate Calculator normally would. But the difference is if I do this. Oops. And then I select this. It also works if I select ghosts. So now Rate Calculator will work with ghosts. Additionally, it will work with agricultural towers and thrusters and asteroid collectors, all the space platforms. And what else is there? Ghost support, quality bonus production, asteroid collectors, accumulators, agricultural towers, fusion reactors, fusion generators, actual rocket silo to orbit rates, solar panels, and space platform thrusters. Yeah, Simon put a ton of effort into his library. It's incredible. No matrix calculation though? Not yet. That's going to be the next step. The reason I'm not doing it now is because I have no idea how to implement it. I barely passed my linear algebra class in college. Well, I actually blame my professor more than anything else, because my professor was just not good.
Oh my god!
How do you solve systems of equations without matrices? You don't. Thanks for the follow, Bloodstained Crow. Yeah, people are adamant about using max rate calculator because they don't like rate calculator's GUI. That's literally the only reason. They will continue to use what they are used to, even if it is objectively inferior. It's crazy. Yeah, I cannot overstate just how much work Simon put into this. Like, it's crazy the amount of work that he put into, especially ghost beacon calculations. Me and Simon worked together on the ghost beacon calculations. I had to basically describe to him exactly how the engine code worked so that he could re-implement it in Lua, and it was a big pain in the butt. Yes, that is pollution. But yeah, Rate Calculator does not use any sort of solver yet. It just shows you the maximum rates. And that's still going to be true for now. But I am going to set it up so that it can use a matrix solver in the future. Okay, so it's not able to do that. Okay. Okay, so now if I select a thing, but it doesn't produce any rates. Well, actually, interesting. Woo! Wait, the drag target's not working. I haven't listened to Fat Rat in a long time. Having a really nice nostalgia trip right now. Oh, you're welcome, I guess. Recently listening to, we were listening to End of the Decade mixtape. Now we're listening to Unity 10th Anniversary mixtape. Lua LS? Hello? There we go. Yeah, Dingo? Oh, of course not. Yeah, that makes sense actually. Because the add parameter is a property tree instead of a Lua table. Oh, well, I need to reload. Now that should drag. There we go. And if we middle click, it should go back to the center. Easy. Okay. So we want to create it hidden. And then have a show thing. There we go. Manually doing the events isn't all that bad, actually. Yeah, it's not bad at all. We're just gonna keep doing that for now. Okay, so now we have that, and then if we do a shift add, it should also open it, and then if we do a shift right click, it should also open it. Cool. Okay. Okay, so now let's add pinning because I wanna. Okay, so now that should create a pin button if we reload this. No sprite flip pin. Oh. Right, I didn't change that. There we go. Now we got a pin button. The GUI.flib keep open. But now I'm gonna need to restart the LSP because it's gonna freaking freak out because I opened the file. There we go, keep open. Okay, on GUI click, elsif lm equals pin button. I'll be right there, close to the sun. Holding on, keep holding on. I'll be right there. Sun to the sun. Oh, I forgot. I added auto toggling. Oh, actually, yeah, that's fine. Okay, we closed here. That should be it, actually. Mm-hmm. Really? Fine. Okay, well let's split this up into a few different things here. Uh There we go. Okay, that's a lot better commit history. Much better. Ugh. Alright, let's start showing some shiz. Oh, I forgot to... Can I do a mouse button filter on a... Mouse button... Yes, I can. Oh, it's because I already created it. I really like the UI for the commit windows. Yeah, this is called LazyGit. And the diff tool is Delta, I think. Well, I don't want to dox myself by accident. Okay, we're fine. Yeah, it is Delta. What? Okay, so mouse button filter does not work on title bars, on flows. I need to do it down here. There we go. Okay, let's start showing some stuff. So basically, we want to we just want to show the raw stuff for now, I guess. So we are going to create some spaghetti code to show some stuff for now. This is going to be a subclass at some point, but for now, or a daughter class, I guess. It's going to be a child. It's going to be its own thing. Window.add. Okay, so now we have set.lookup. So we can do for amount. Thanks for the compliments on the music. I totally wrote the music myself, and it's all mine. Wahaha. Okay, so we need SW here. Am I already caching this? Row.config? No, okay, so we need to create a function for making a row. Make row. Param, row, cached config, I think it is. Oh, it's material node. That's a much better name. Okay, so we make a row from a material node. So first thing we need to do is we need to get the material. We need to get the GUI. So we need to do sw.gui. Well, that's not helpful. Why you know IntelliSense, please? Go to definition? Hello? Freaking hate this language server. Okay, what do we have here? Scale number, format number, compressed string, GUI message, GUI button. That takes in a node description. What? 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 Huh? Oh. Okay, that's that's unfortunate. My Harpoon plugin is too smart. Basically, so I have these two files harpooned, so I can go Alt-1 to get here, Alt-2 to get here. But when I go here, the harpoons change because it's in a different Git repository. Oh, I never thought about that. Because my Harpoon plugin will change the Harpoon file depending on the Git repository that you're in. And the branch as well. Too smart. Okay, so I don't think there's anything we can do there. Configuration. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's just see what happens here. So we get GUI default. GUI. Yeah, baby. But we want to see what we can get here. Logs. Right, so the reason why I'm going through such lengths to use Simon's library for this is because Simon's library has remote interfaces that allows other mods to define custom rates for things. Like they can just define completely custom behavior. So if I do as many things as possible through Simon's library, then it'll support all of those mods that do their custom behavior. This is part of the reason why I needed to rewrite it, because my previous logic, okay, well, my previous logic just did what's the word I'm looking for? My previous logic just did it all hard-coded, and it wasn't gonna work for anything custom. Whereas here now it can call the remote interfaces to get like icons and names and garbage. Okay, so element should be preferred, I suppose. But if we don't have element, then we can get icon and name. Oh, it even gives us the watts. That's nice. Okay, we're just gonna turn off the sounds in the game. As long as I want developers to find how their weird farmland or whatever works and what it produces, it will just work. Yes. That means I don't need to add bespoke support for things. One example of this is Pyanodon's production rates for Pyanodon's alternative energy. So this is something that Simon wrote. Oh gosh, Space Age, get out of here. This is something that Simon wrote. It's an add-on that uses stuff. It creates a custom node for Nexalit mines. So if we do a dig site here, you'll see that this can do rates for it, sort of. I need more 4 Digosaurs. Okay, so now it should be able to do something with this. Yeah, 0.53 per second. So it'll estimate those, and that is based on that plugin for that separate mod that he wrote, and it uses remote interfaces to define custom rates. Hey, Code Green. So yeah, that's why we need to use Simon's library as much as possible in the GUI, because then it'll support stuff like that. Okay, but we would like to... The node description, we have LMID, we have icon name qualifier. So the thing about Simon's library is very well designed, but he hasn't added like any descriptive descriptions to it yet. So I just have to basically figure out what these mean. So what does it gives us Nexalit or dried meat or Nexalit, icon name number format for electricity. So I guess we want to prioritize the element. And then, yeah, we'll just do elements first. So if description.element, then we create a sprite button here. Let's stop by to say hi on family vacation. Oh, well, have fun. I mean, how dare you not stick around? But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Have a good vacation. And Ongi, thank you for the prime. Appreciate you. Very kind of you. Okay, so that should do it. Is that the right type for that? Yes. Takes in a GUI description. Yeah, that's perfect. So I can actually just do this like this. Button description dot... Ah! Superb! Sprite. Button description dot LM tooltip. Button description dot quality. And what else was there? Tooltip? Yes. But what is qualifier? That's one thing I don't understand. Hey, General Tank. Team McIntyre. Hello. Best Factorio mod ever written to put in the base game is getting a rewrite. Yep. It's not going to be in the base game ever. Sorry. Honestly, you don't, unless you're doing like speedrunning, you don't really need it in the base game because the tooltips give you enough information. At least in my opinion. But you play Factorio a lot more than I do. I would like to have it in the base game, but it's not gonna be a thing. Sorry. Hey, it works. You just meme? Okay. I don't know for certain. Hard to tell on the internet. Okay, so now we have the raw Nexilate, jerky, and raw Nexilate. Oh, that's the entity. Okay. Remembers to place belts correctly. That's if the smart belt dragging doesn't screw you over again. Does this rewrite also help with any other mining drone type mods? If the mining drone mod implements the remote interface for Simon's library, then yes. The thing is, I'm not going to implement specific support for anything, but if a mod wants something to happen, then it will have to implement the remote interface, or someone else will have to make an add-on mod that will implement that remote interface. Okay, so now let's create the rates. So make row, description.element. Okay, cool. Wait, hold on. I'm a dingo. Are these all optional? That is not optional. Let's see. Sprite path is non-optional. The rest of these are. But what is qualifier? Maybe that's like temperatures. Okay, so let's do something that has a fluid temperature. So let's actually return to the pie, sync with mods. Actually, while I have you here, there's a change that might be coming down the pipeline that I would like to see if you like it or not, as someone who has frequent issues with smart belt dragging. So right now, if you are dragging and then you go to one direction, but then you want to go the other direction, it just does this. Do you rely on that behavior? Or I guess, do you rely on being able to do this? Probably. Okay. So maybe you don't know it consciously, but so the change that might be happening is if you're belt dragging and then you go backwards, it'll actually unplace those entities. So like if it happens to me a lot where like, oh, I want to go over here, but like, oops, I went one too far, but if I go back, then it just does that. The idea being that you can fix the mistake. So like if you go backwards after you start dragging, so it won't, I don't think it'll undo anything that you've already placed before, but any entities that are in the drag, you can go backwards and it'll undo. So no, it won't deconstruct belts. I don't think so anyway. I'd have to test it. But yeah, do you think that would break your workflow? But leave a bunch of X's, not as far as I'm aware. But I can't show you because it's not an official thing yet. That's a plan. Okay, so what am I looking at? I'm looking at... Why is my frame time so bad? Excuse me? Yikes! What is going on? Repair is taking 43 milliseconds? Why? Repair took 213 milliseconds. Render preparation. Da frick? Maybe it's just time usage. No, something weird's happening up here. It doesn't like something. I don't know, I'll have to look at that. Why does dragging belts through splitters not work? Does it? It works. Place a splitter, ghost and belt before and after, then try to build the ghosts. I don't know, man. This is all CoverX's domain. Complain to him. Place a real splitter, ghost the belts. Ghost the belts. Okay. This is the CoverX special. The landlord special. Okay, what was I gonna test? I need to test the steam temperatures. See what that happens. I'm trying to figure out what qualifier is. Oh wait, I gotta just look at the code. I'm a dingo. No description. Why? It's right there. That's actually Kakoon's fault. Yeah. Why is it not going? My workflow has been broken. Okay. Qualifier. Go to references. Here we go. Fluid. Yeah, it is for temperatures. Ha! I was right. So if we go down here, this guy. Whoops. Oh, it's because this is, yeah, it's migrations, so I actually can't use that. Thank you so much for it, calculator. Yeah, no problem. I'm hoping for it to be even better soon. Actually, I don't need Pyanodons to test this. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Okay, so if I go, this should have a, that doesn't have a qualifier because there's only one, excuse me, there's only one temperature. But if I go to a boiler and I select that, then this should have a qualifier. Yes. Actually, that's just the string. Awesome. Okay, that's cool. So we gotta go back down to update. Thank you. Make row. Make row. Here we go. Okay, so now we have this. We need to add a flow. Style equals, I don't actually know what style I want to use. I'll just do a regular flow for now. Caption equals description dot. Hold on. w.gui.gui button and text. Can I just do GUI text without? button. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna end up using this. Because it's gonna do the weird scaling thing that his GUI does. Yeah. Doing like 146 per second. Yeah, no, we're not gonna use that. Interesting. So yeah, okay, we're not gonna use the text. We're gonna have to do that ourselves. But that's fine. Okay, so now we have a problemo. Okay, let's test it with the temperatures first. Yep, 165 degrees C. So the qualifier is given to us on this description, right? Yes. But we can also just get it from node dot node dot hold on, node dot node. So I need to figure out what can return in any temperature. Okay, so it's something with a temperature range. So that should be like a steam turbine because that's less than. Oh no, that's not right. That should be in any fluid. Well, I guess it does need to take the exact temperature in order to generate that much electricity. Actually, we're not going to use the amount. We need to do the configurations, because that will give us an integer value and not a floating point that could potentially become imprecise. There we go. Looks like trash, but it works. Okay, we're definitely not going to keep it like that, but... little blurry. That might just be because of the... So the stream is being streamed at 1080p, but my monitor is 1440p, but I also have the UI scale set to 1.25, so it looks a lot clearer on my screen. But these are also really hard to read. This is not how it's actually going to look. Don't worry. Yes, I agree, Bloodstained Crow. That's why I'm going to look at the colors that I use. Oh, actually, hold on. Is it in the locale? A colored caption. Ah, here we go. I have these colors. So that is a 0.58-ish. That looks way better. But I definitely do think style because semi-bold will also help us. But like I said, this is not the final UI design. Actually, I don't like that as much. This is just temporary. Right, so we're not actually going to use the colors except for in the net rates. Okay. The rewrite, do you have a specific goal in mind? Yes, I'm refactoring it to use Simon's library for everything because it'll maximize mod compatibility, and that's basically it. Like I'll show you. My existing UI is bad, or my existing UI code is bad because it is completely hard coded. So I go in here, and then I look at the node type from Simon's library, and then I hard code various things depending on that. And that's not flexible whatsoever. Because if someone adds a remote interface, someone adds a remote interface to add something else like Nextlit mines or something, or like custom node types, then it's not going to work at all. So I need to go through the generic APIs that Simon's library provides so that it can maximize the compatibility. Like this version of Rate Calculator is already using the new backend, but I can't do things like agricultural cells or generic field categories because the UI just doesn't work with that. It just heckin' dies. Yeah, I think at first we're gonna remake like the existing GUI, pretty much. But it's not going to be just this, I think. We're gonna try to do some more fancy stuff. But my first goal is to just remake the existing GUI, but support all the features from Simon's library. Then I will do a more thorough GUI redesign later, I think. Yeah, we'll do row. No, we don't need those yet. Okay, so I don't really like using the or like having a node here. I think I would rather have it just be an index into the sets nodes because that keeps a single source of truth. Like it's the difference between passing raw pointers around and using like a smart pointer with an index that always takes it from the source. In this place, we have multiple sources of truth. Also, the garbage collection could be bad. So I think I would rather not store the node directly. But that also means we're going to keep it like this for now because doing that will also mean we need to implement the whatchamacallit, sorted list of nodes instead of just the lookup table. Never gonna let you go. Okay, let's see if that works. Sorry, I keep flashbanging you with my background. Need to get a more stream-friendly background that isn't so bright. It is a nice background. Like I love this background, but I keep I just love how like the whole like most of the picture is like blurred, like all like the cheek lines, like these are all blurred and stuff, but then the eyes are just super detailed. It's really pretty. Oh gosh, OBS is having a panic attack. Go. Also, my music is gone. Time for more orthographic arts. Chromatic aberration. Is that what it is? Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. It is chromatic aberration. It's just such a pretty background. It's actually in 4K as well, so I usually have it up on my TV whenever I have my TV connected to my PC. But I put it on my primary monitor for a while because I like it so much. What am I doing? Right, I'm just testing to see if this works. Yep, cool. Okay, so now we need to create the actual stuff. In fact, I'm actually going to rename this to node. Because that's what it is. Oopsie. Wait, hold on. So it only gives me the opportunity to rename row, but when I do that, it replaces the, oh, that's great. Thanks, Lua LS. Naming things is hard. Okay. So we bring in a material node, we return a main GUI node. Don't need that anymore. So now we need to start replicating how the old GUI looks. So it's actually take a look at the screenshot. Okay. So we have the icon, and then we have the machines, and then we have the amount. That should be easy enough. So we have the icon already. What styles do we have? Completion. Oh, we have the checkboxes too. Awkward. I have the invasion of Hoth with Darth Vader as and the 501st as my background. Wow, that is a lot of white. Actually, no, we want to make this a table. Because we're going to start having different tooltips for different parts of the row instead of just having it all one. So we actually want, oh, but that, yikes. We'll just do flows for now. It's fine. My background comes with KDE. Way too lazy to change it. I always have Windows above it anyway. True. I could do the thing where I have like colors alpha equals 0.95 or whatever. And then I have like semi-transparent terminal, like a nerd. I'm not that nerdy. I like my opaque terminals. Yeah, Leberwurst, I agree. Okay, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. So basically, before we actually do any more GUI work, we have to create a new representation because right now these are all just in one table and the output and input rates are combined. Well, actually, that second part probably isn't an issue, but the first part is an issue. We need to separate them out into 3 distinct tables based on their type. I think we have ingredients, products, and intermediates. So that's the next step, I think. Or how about we do a little silly? So we go to rates set. Here we have lookup, but we also need an ordered. Oh, but I don't want to keep that in the rates set because it could be different depending on the GUI state. I want you to be able to sort it differently. Yeah, this actually is not going to contain any sorted stuff. We're just going to do nodes instead of lookup. So what is this actually? Config production description. I think I actually want to call this a rates node. Also, I forgot node description again. That's funny. And actually, that's probably happening because it has a limit on how many files it preloads, because performance. Because instead of actually fixing their damn performance, they just make it not load the whole library, which is ridiculous. But they also can't really fix the performance because it's Lua. Lua can only go so fast. Writing a language server in Lua was one of the worst decisions they ever made. Okay. Why am I in this file? Okay, so now I have a decision to make because I kind of like the idea of keeping the sorted sets outside of the GUI structure. But on the other hand, it's kind of intimately tied to the GUI because it only exists in the GUI. I guess you could say the same thing for all the sets. So my question is, do I put the sorted and categorized sets on the rate set manager or on the GUI? That's the question I have to ask right now. I think I'm gonna put it on rate set manager because then I can recreate the GUI from scratch and not lose any data. Because when I migrate, yeah, actually that's what I'm gonna do. Because when I migrate mod versions, I always destroy and recreate the GUI from scratch because that just makes things a lot easier. But I specifically don't want to do that with the rate sets anymore. I want to try to migrate them if possible. So yeah, we're gonna keep it here. But keeping in mind the single source of truth concept, I think I want to keep this nodes here is going to be always be the single source of truth for the data. I'm not going to create another sorted array. And instead, what the sorted array will do is it will just contain the keys to this. And then I can grab them. Even though that's less performant, it's more easy to maintain. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so on rate set manager, we have a list of sets per player that they can navigate through. And now I would also like to be able to have different sorting options. Okay, that's the next question I need to ask. Because I want to be able to, let's use Simon's because it's more, so like for example, I want to be able to change the sorting. So by default, it'll have the products, ingredients, and stuff, but I want you to be able to disable that so you can just have them all in one table, like Rate Calculator 2.0. And then I also want you to be able to sort it by the different columns. I don't have any pictures of Rate Calculator 2.0, but basically it had the icon, then it had the rate, then it had the machines, then it had the rate per machine, and then it had net machines and net rate, or net rate and net machines, I can't remember. And you could sort by any of those columns. I think I want to try to bring that feature back. Rate calculator total rewrite it in Rust, and not Rust, but rewrite, yes. Behold, my glorious GUI. This is not what it's gonna look like. Rust modding coming to a Factorio near you. It actually already exists. Sort of, yeah. It's like a plugin system. It's very hacky and not officially endorsed. In fact, I actively recommend against it because it's really a security nightmare. It never went around the initial phase. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Dang, I am struggling to decide how I want to structure this. Actually, I think I've changed my mind. So the single source of truth is always going to be this sets table here. This is always going to contain the sets themselves. We don't want to lose that state between mod configuration changes, but maybe it would be okay if we Okay, well, let's put it on the GUI for now. I think I like that. Sorted set categorized nodes. Table of node category. And GUI.node.category. And a set of strings, or a array of strings. Maybe we create a node manager. Man, my C++ coding style is leaking so much right now. It's crazy. I'm making everything into classes. I never used to do Lua like this, but I've been ruined by C++. I still don't do inheritance in Lua because, but, well, actually I do because I have to. Like over here, main GUI inherits from event handler because it has the event handler stuff, but that's fine. That's like almost like composition. Does Lua support functional programming? No. Oh wait, I'm an idiot. Active set is on the actual thing, so we don't need to keep that here. Categorized nodes. Yeah, so the categorized nodes will always be regenerated based on the active set, so that can just be on the GUI. That's fine. Build and show, self.update. Okay, so for now, we're just gonna do this in here, but eventually we're gonna wanna make it so that we're not doing this unless we absolutely need to. Why is my AC blasting so hard right now? 74, please. Thank you. Okay. So we're just gonna don't do this unless the set is changed. But for now, we're just gonna categorize them right here. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm doing this badly. This has its own class. Yeah, so we can do it in here. Function, material, node, get, cat. There we go. All right, cool. Oh. Well, fine. That's why I don't use that very often, actually. Question, what do you mean when you're referring to something as a single point of truth? So, hold on. I need to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so, single source of truth means, like, in programming, you want to try to avoid having multiple sources of truth. And what that means, like, if you have an array of, like, numbers, but then you have an array of, like, sorted numbers, now you have two sources of truth because these numbers could be something more complex, like a Lua object or something, and or like my table that has like foo bar in it. But now you have two copies of that data, or you have like two pointers to that data. So if that data gets deleted or changed, then you have to update it in two places. So you want it to have a single source of truth so that that doesn't happen. Now in Lua, tables are always passed by reference, which means that you can pass tables around and still sort of have a single source of truth, but I like to not do that because then if you like delete this table here, then you also have to make sure that you delete it here as well. Otherwise it'll get screwed up. Whereas if you just had, well, I guess you have to do the same thing with the indices, but like if you, it feels cleaner to me, basically. Because then the garbage collector only has to worry about one thing instead of multiple, especially in languages like C, where if you free some memory but then forget to forget to update some pointers, then it could be really bad. So something that you could do is just keep an index into an array instead of a pointer to the object in that array, so that you don't have any out of memory accesses. Yeah, I'm pulling some of my C habits into Lua right now. Like here, I'm only storing the node IDs. So in order to get the actual node, I have to index my set.nodes table here. Oh, hold on, I'm an idiot. Multiple things saying the same thing, maybe slightly differently, are not ideal for that scenario. Exactly. So like now we have a condition where we probably want to memoize this. And then if we can invalidate it in here. So we only have to do it once. Because right now we're doing it multiple times. If ingredient. There we go. So now it'll sort them based on their rates, which is how it works in... Okay, so now for each of these... This is really slow because we're going over each node, and then we are going over them again and sorting them, and then we're going over them a third time and finally displaying them. That's why we need to cache this in the future. Ugh. Hey, nice. That worked. First try. Wait, that should be returning the negative. Okay, so now we want to we're gonna memorize this right now. Field category. There we go. So now that's memoized. And it will be invalidated whenever we change the rates on this thing. Cool. Now if we do this and then we add some more, yeah, it's going to invalidate all of them actually, but if we do this one, then it'll just invalidate the copper and the electricity. Cool. But let's do something. Let's test this a little smarter. So let's put this up here, and then we will build a green circuit setup. So now we have the copper, and then we have the input. But now we should see it. Yeah. Okay, it is working. Awesome. Because now you're seeing that the copper cable is changing between intermediate and product, depending on what it is. So the cache validation is working. Awesome. So yeah, this is a case where now we have multiple sources of truth because the base source of truth is the output and input configuration tables. But since this is kind of expensive, well, it's not that expensive, but it's expensive enough to where I want to cache it. Now we have a second source of truth, but we are explicitly making sure that we are keeping that up to date with the actual source of truth. Oh, I need to put that in a scroll pane. There we go. Yikes. Oh, interesting. It has the... Oh, I don't like that, actually. Okay, I think I might call it there for today. It's been 3 hours. Got stuff to do, things to do. Yeah, we made a good bit of progress today. We're basically re-implementing a lot of the stuff I'd already done in the previous GUI, but we're doing it cleaner. And with better encapsulation of concerns. So I'm happy so far. Yeah. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and we'll find somebody to raid.
Oh my god!
Thanks for the follow, Liehops. Appreciate you. Be looking forward to more Pi VODs. Yeah, I'm taking a break from Pi for a minute, as you can tell. Got a little burned out, but it'll be back soon. I'm gonna take the easy raid today. We're gonna raid Will. Give him a nice raid guard in the chat. And I'll see you there. Hi, Mike. Bye, Mike.